nous vous invitons à un soutien massif de notre action et nous appelons le gouvernement français à ne pas du tout s'initier dans les affaires intérieures de notre très cher pays, la République du Bénin. Béninoises et Béninois, bonsoir.
That's Colonel Abi Captain Maiyegun General Pascal. This time, it is alleged that they have arrested some of his fellow coupists. So he was now in hiding. So since they didn't get along, then there's no coup. For your coup to be successful, you need to arrest the head of the government. But the moment the head of the government is able to slip away from you, it will make contact. And in this case, right, it could even get outside help. And that makes it impossible, like even more difficult. It can lead to what some people called a civil war. So the situation in Benin Republic is not completely settled. However, with the with the intervention of Nigeria military, here you get, they have been able to possibly show some strength, what they call the show of strength, right there to say, okay, if this coup is actually real, it's going to be the coupists versus Nigeria. Do you understand? But since they didn't get along just a moment ago, Talon, the president of Benin Republic, addressed his country by saying everything is fine. So therefore, the coup did not succeed.
Béninoises, Béninois, mes chers compatriotes, je m'adresse à vous ce soir parce que notre pays a vécu aujourd'hui des événements d'une gravité extrême. En effet, un groupuscule de soldats, sous prétexte de revendications fallacieuses, a entrepris une mutinerie à l'effet de s'attaquer aux institutions de la République et de déstabiliser notre nation en remettant ainsi en cause l'ordre démocratique. Une telle entreprise aurait eu pour conséquence de plonger notre pays dans une aventure sans lendemain aux conséquences désastreuses. Elle aurait mis un coup d'arrêt au processus de développement amorcé par notre pays grâce aux efforts entrepris par toutes ses filles et tous ses fils. En pareille circonstance, le devoir républicain m'impose, en ma qualité de président de la République, chef suprême des armées et garant de la stabilité du pays, de prendre les mesures appropriées pour faire échec à l'œuvre des aventuriers désireux de nous faire retourner dans un passé de triste mémoire. J'ai donc, en coordination avec le commandement des forces de défense et de sécurité, engagé les actions nécessaires au maintien de la paix en vue de garantir la sécurité et la quiétude de tous sur toute l'étendue du territoire national. Je voudrais ici saluer le sens du devoir de notre armée et de ses responsables qui sont restés républicains et loyaux à la patrie. Avec eux, nous avons fait front, repris les positions jusqu'à nettoyer les dernières poches de résistance des mutins. Cet engagement et cette mobilisation nous ont permis de faire échec à ces aventuriers et d'éviter le pire à notre pays. Cette forfaiture ne restera pas impunie. C'est le lieu pour moi de féliciter nos forces de défense et de sécurité dans leur ensemble pour leur sens du devoir. Je voudrais, par la même occasion, avoir une pensée pour les victimes de cette aventure insensée, de même que pour les personnes encore retenues par les mutins en fuite. Je leur donne l'assurance que nous ferons front pour les retrouver sains et saufs. Mes chers compatriotes, je voudrais par la même occasion vous remercier particulièrement, vous, de l'intérieur comme de l'extérieur, pour votre soutien actif et vos nombreux messages d'encouragement durant cette journée. Ils nous ont rassurés et donné l'énergie nécessaire pour faire front au nom du Bénin, qui, nous pouvons dire a bien une âme. Enfin, je voudrais vous rassurer que la situation est totalement sous contrôle et vous inviter.
So the bottom line, Shai, is that, assuring the people that he's in charge and the entire setback for today, all of the coupists will not go unpunished. None of them go unpunished. So the people should go about their normal business and everything is there. Merci beaucoup. So, is that it? Is that the end of it for real? Well, we will see. Time shall tell. Do you get what I mean? I am not in support of any form of military takeover of government. Sometimes, if all of us, if our memory serves us very right, okay, if those who abused what was supposed to be the democratic tenet for their own selfishness and the rest of that, if, when I look up, right, and I look at my hair, and I'm like, I'm sorry about this, just a little bit deviation, right? So every time I look down and I look up and I see my hair, and I'm like, if my great-grandma was alive, even if my mom was alive, and she sees that on the screen, she'll be like, why do she yarn? Why did you not comb your hair? Why do you leave your hair like that? Like, I just wanted to. And you see all these lights are not helping. They make them look like so bushy when the light goes into it. Crazy, yeah? Anyway, that's just on the side. So military government is brutal, is evil. And in fact, rather than choose a military government, okay, I would advise that we should probably compartmentalize the entire country. Let everybody go run their own preferred system of government. You get me now? So, coup is not ideal. Trust me. I don't know how young you are, and I don't know how angry you are with that contraption. Through this their fake democracy, if people indeed decided to just at least show interest, number of you show interest with an understanding, which seems to be like impossible, right? But show interest, just a number, it will become so impossible or very difficult to do for these guys to get away with most of the things they are getting away with. Trust me. Because it is within that space that you can sit down and say, okay, we want this, we want that. Let us have a confederation. In a military system, you don't. I know, you see, those are my enablers. So, Maiyegun, your hairstyle is cool. Yeah, you are my enabler. You are going to be the type that it is the kind of friends that my mom will say, you need to be careful around him. It's a bad influence. How can somebody who was raised in a good home be growing this kind of fear in your head? I say, I'm over 40. I'm not that boy anymore. What do you mean you're over 40? Does that mean that you should be living your hair like bushy, like, If you're from an African home, you know what I'm talking about. Very well, yeah? I don't know what about mothers anyway. They prefer you to just go skin. That's what they like. That's why they will say, oh, you look so handsome. You look so natural, handsome. I know. I just did that to cool the tension in the room. Do you get what I mean about if you are a male child like me and you still have mom, then you know what I'm talking about. They don't want you to come home and have all this beard. They don't want you to come in with all this, like, what is this? What is this? Comb more now. Like that means okay, you're a I said, no, man, yeah, man twist any. Kilonje twist. What okay shit that? Like you are now did that, like they will make it so much like they are not, if you have parents who are like religious, that's another kettle of fish, right? But let's go back here to the business. So I am not in support of any coup, simply because it is one barbaric gang of, criminals with guns. They do not have any courtesy. They act as if to say they are not even member of the society themselves because of what we have seen in that contraption. Trust me. So it's ideal for people to sort their differences, even if we have to go physical, but not when some part will have guns, the other don't. We won't have guns, the military will have guns. Their conversation is mostly about order. And it's crazy. You don't want to experience it. I know if there's a coup in Nigeria tomorrow, the first reaction would be, hey, but when everything's settled down, then you realize that it will facilitate the breakup of Nigeria than you can imagine. I'm not exaggerating, but trust me, don't pray for coup by any reason. I mean, for any reason. Rather, call for a national conversation to peacefully go our separate ways. You may not like it. Do you get me now? There are those who still believe that a good leadership may change all of that. The good leadership and this and that. I said, good leadership will come from a good constitution that represents everybody's interest. When your interest from wherever you come from as a stakeholder in Nigeria is fully covered, that my own interest cannot override yours can't override mine, all covered, we are all agreed to live together, to stay in this place. That is when you can then put a process in place, the process of choosing those who represent us, elections, qualifications, and stuffs like that, that you build standard, step by step. You cannot build something on nothing. Nigeria will never have any good leadership. Don't dream it. Stop. Go back to the foundation. Read that your fake constitution and realize why from local government chairman, well, from councillor to local government chairman to state house of assembly member to the governor, of course, deputy, state cabinet to federal cabinet, federal lawmakers, the president, vice president, federal cabinet. You see that composition as they go on, right? When you read your constitution, you will realize how much, oh dear, how much nonsense they have used grammar to cover up, which these criminals have discovered, and they have been able to get away with so many things that you'll be asking yourself, how are they getting away with all of this? How come there's nobody to hold them? Then you go back and realize that it is the entire structure. The foundation of the entire structure is faulty. We didn't write it. I mean, if I was not there during the Nigeria's independence negotiation, you know, I wasn't there. So I can excuse whatever they did. But I was there when they put together this charade called democracy in Nigeria that is now clearing, drug dealers, money launderers, human traffickers, treasury looters, armed robbers, organ traffickers, tax evaders, and all manner of criminals that ordinarily a working system would have exposed them and stopped them, right? Before they even get to a position of holding any sensitive position in the society. That's what the system does. If you are a drug dealer, you don't go into politics. If you are a fraudster, you don't go into politics. Because going into politics means the system is going to scrutinize you. It's going to look into everything. Now, a rotten system means when that genuine system, what do you call it? When you have a system that's supposed to probe and investigate all this and expose it and say this person is not qualified to be appointed, to be elected into anything. If he attempts it, he should be in jail. They won't near your politics. Criminals won't near your politics. You will only see some perfect criminals who are like lawyers, accountants, but they will also know the consequences if they get caught, what is at stake. Do you understand? That's what system does. With that, people that will be standing for election, for any election, they will be scrutinized, and you can then judge them based on what they have here. Because the system has cleared them that indeed they are not questionable characters. But Nigeria is a place where you see drug dealers, barons, all these people. Here you get, they are publicly fraternizing with themselves. They don't care. People will know that this one is a criminal, this one is this. But people, once they start doing philanthropy, become philanthropists, the same Nigerians will begin to sing at their praises. So my main point is that good leadership does not fall from the moon. Good leadership does not come from just wishing or praying. If you're not looking at the foundation, what the Yoruba called amokun, ẹrù ẹwọ, olókèlè ń wò, ẹ̀wò ìsàlẹ̀. Do you know who is an amokun? Well, a physically challenged person. Do you get me now? Let me describe it for you. Yoruba is so deep and it is so upright that I have told myself that if I have the capacity, the authority, like, government or anything, I would actually establish what is called Yoruba religion, which actually teaches you the spirituality, the probity, the deepness of your thoughts that could help your own, humanity as well. Amoku, physically challenged person, right? Coming ahead and he was like that. And then you were like, Amoku, what happened to this, your load? Why is it so bent? And it was like, you're not paying attention. You are just paying attention to the load. Can't you see to the ground that I'm actually myself like, not balanced? So, Amoku, ẹrù ẹwọ, you cannot build something on nothing. My view. Meanwhile, one of the prominent figures they believed could probably turn things around, and many times we have reminded you that even if he's got that mindset, if he's got that vision, it's still going to end up as the same thing. You cannot make an honest man succeed in the midst of hundreds of dishonest people. How does that work? So 2 or 3 days ago, Peter Obi was in the European Union Parliament. He was invited to come and witness them debating, about everything, including Africa. And then he was introduced to speak. His speech is captured here. Please watch.
Honored that you are giving a speech to us.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, MEPs. Well, I don't know. First, let me most sincerely show my gratitude and thank you for opportunity of being part of your section. It was a very good listen how discussions go on. The first question people wonder is, why am I here? I'm just here to be able to start a conversation because I found out that the European Union, or most countries of Europe and the Western world, actually have little knowledge about Nigeria and Africa in general. And because of it, in their decision, in their thinking, they rarely bring Africa into perspective. I said to them, it is time to rethink. Africa today is the last frontier of global development. It's the second biggest continent in terms of size in the world, the second biggest continent in terms of population. It's a continent that has the highest amount of natural resources. It's a continent that has vast uncultivated land, a continent with young population. 60% of African population today is young. But then again, it's a continent of mass poverty. Today, Europe, if I take Nigeria for example, Nigeria in terms of population is 50% of European Union population. You are about 450 million. We are over 240 million. So we over have 50% of your population. In terms of the land size, Nigeria, Europe is about 4-point-something million square kilometers. Nigeria is about a quarter of that, just Nigeria. But when you come to in terms of wealth, while Europe have a per capita of over $40,000, Nigeria, which is over 50% of your population, our per capita is below about 2.5% of that of Europe. So you could see the potential with all the resources